Before we dive into tonight's haunting story, be sure to like and subscribe or you may find yourself wondering if something is watching you. Hit that button, if you dare. The gaslight blinked to life as Daniel curved around the eighth blind corner in the Appalachian Mountains. He cursed under his breath, his knuckles white around the steering wheel. Rain had begun to spit on the windshield in fat, oily drops, and the road was barely more than a strip of crumbling asphalt winding through thick, suffocating woods. He should have filled up in town, but he was behind schedule and had trusted his aging Honda Civic to get him through. The mountains at night were a different kind of darkness. Not city dark or country dark, Appalachian dark. A black that swallowed headlights, that pressed in through the windows like it wanted in. Daniel's phone flickered with a single bar of service before going dead. No signal, no GPS, just the sound of the tires rolling over wet pavement and the occasional rustle of leaves like someone whispering too close. He squinted. Up ahead, a hand-painted sign blinked by in his high beams. Scenic overlook, 1 mile. God, I hope there's a gas station, he muttered. The rain picked up, the kind of torrential mountain downpour that turned roads into rivers. That's when it happened. The car chugged once, twice, and the engine stuttered. The gaslight was no longer blinking. It was solid now. A warning instead of a reminder. Daniel's stomach dropped. He tapped the dashboard like it owed him something. The engine coughed once more and died. His car rolled to a slow stop near the entrance of the overlook. He put it in park and leaned forward, trying to see through the slanted rain. The forest crowded the road on both sides. Dense, unmoving, almost watching. He didn't want to stop. Every fiber of his being screamed against it. But he was miles from anything, with no gas, no service, and only a flashlight from the glove box to keep him company. As he popped the hood and stepped out, the rain hit him like a wave. Cold, relentless. He flipped the hood open and stared uselessly into the steam rising from the engine. He didn't know what he was looking for. He was a graphic designer, not a mechanic, but doing something felt better than doing nothing. The smell hit him first, wet rust and something sour, like something that had been dead a little too long. He froze. Leaves rustled, twigs snapped. He turned slowly, shining the flashlight across the trees. Nothing but dripping branches. But he had the unmistakable feeling of being watched, of something just behind the veil of trees. Breathing with him, he shut the hood and backed away. The flashlight's beam caught something on the side of the overlook sign. Scratched into the wood were 4 words. Don't stop at night. His blood went cold. That's when he heard the giggle. Not a child's laughter, no. This was wet. Broken, like it had been dragged up from underwater. It echoed unnaturally, bouncing from tree to tree. Daniel turned, heart pounding. There, at the tree line, a figure stood. No, not stood. It hung. Its feet didn't touch the ground, and its limbs were too long, too thin, draped in something tattered and dripping. The face. God, the face. It wasn't right. Just a smooth patch of skin, stretched tight where features should be. But where eyes would be, they were too deep. Pulsing indentations. Breathing, watching. He stumbled backward, tripping over the roadside gravel. The thing tilted its head, as if curious. Then, with a convulsion that looked like a marionette yanked on 2 tight strings, it lunged toward him. Daniel screamed and dove back into the car, slamming the door just as the thing hit the side with a sickening crack. The car rocked. It wasn't big, maybe 100 pounds soaking wet, but it was fast. Impossibly fast. Its hands-long, bony things slammed against the window, leaving streaks of something black and thick. The smeared message it left behind chilled him to the bone. Feed the dark. His hands shook as he tried the ignition again. Nothing. He screamed, slamming his fists into the wheel. The thing circled, tapping the glass rhythmically like it was keeping time. Tap, 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 and then silence. The tapping stopped. Daniel dared to look. It was gone. His breath came in ragged gasps. He waited a full minute before reaching for his phone again. Still no signal. His mind reeled, trying to rationalize it. A prank, a hallucination. Another thud hit the roof. Then a second he looked up. The ceiling dented. Whatever it was on top of the car. He fumbled for the flashlight and shone it out the windshield, and that's when he saw them. Not just one figure, dozens, emerging from the trees like shadows with bones. They didn't move right. Too slow, too fast, crawling or upright, all wrong. He remembered the sign. Don't stop. These things, they weren't hunting. They were waiting. For cars. For people to break down. For anyone to stop. The car rocked again, the roof creaked, a hand slapped the windshield. No face, just more smooth skin stretched over bone, and a voice, in that same submerged, broken giggle, feed the dark. Daniel's scream was cut off by the sound of the windshield cracking, but then, headlights, bright, blinding, a honk, tires, skidding. The thing scattered, vanishing into the trees in jerky, unnatural spasms. Daniel sat frozen as a pickup truck pulled up behind him. A man in a yellow rain slicker got out and ran to his window, knocking furiously. "You all right, son? You broke down?" Daniel opened the door, sobbing, barely able to speak. They were everywhere. I know," the man said grimly. "Come on, we need to go, now." As they drove away, Daniel turned back to see the overlook fading into the rain behind them, but he saw it etched into the signpost again. Fresh this time, wet. "You stopped. You're marked." The man beside him drove silently, eyes forward. "They'll follow for a while," he said. "You'll feel them, dream of them, but you keep moving, always. Don't stop in these mountains at night." Daniel nodded, the tears streaming down his face, mixing with the rain from the broken window. He believed him, every word. The fuel gauge was low, dangerously low. Amanda had passed 3 exits already, each one promising a gas station just a few miles off the main road. But it was after midnight, and she wasn't here about to detour into some unknown town in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains. She just wanted to get home. She glanced at the GPS on her phone, still 48 miles to go. No service, just the cached map with a blinking blue dot crawling forward, deeper into the mountain pass. Rain tapped gently on the windshield, and fog began to creep in like a living thing, curling at the edges of the road, swallowing the lines, the trees, and the world beyond. Amanda was a nurse, 12-hour shifts in trauma. She'd seen blood, death, and grief, but this road felt like something worse. Not because of what she could see, but because of what she felt. It started around mile marker 203. That's when the trees began leaning inward, as if closing around the 2-lane road, as if trying to hide it. She passed a sign that said, No services, next 50 miles, and her heart sank. The car sputtered. No, not here, she muttered, hitting the wheel. The Honda rolled another 30 feet and died with a sick wheeze. Silence, no cars, no wind, no animals, just the fog. She sat for a moment, gripping the wheel, barely blinking. She checked her phone again. Still no service. She turned on the emergency flashes, but even they looked dimmer than usual in the fog. Her mind raced. She knew what happened when you stayed in a broken-down car on an empty road. Every horror movie warned you, but leaving didn't feel any safer. And then she saw it up ahead, barely illuminated by her hazards sign on the side of the road. It looked old, wood, rotting, but with red paint still clinging to its words. Don't stop after dark. Amanda swallowed. It was a prank. Had to be. Mountain towns were full of creepy legends. She'd heard stories. Skinwalkers, witches, ferals, cults. But this was 2025. She was a rational woman. Still, she clicked the door locks. Another minute passed. Then she saw movement. Just outside the passenger window, just a shadow. She whipped around. Nothing, but she knew she saw it. She reached down, grabbed her bag, and yanked out her emergency flashlight. The beam cut into the fog but barely reached the tree line. Leaves rustled. Her breath caught. That wasn't the wind. That was footsteps. Slow, crunching, measured. Then a whisper, faint like breath, across her ear even though no one was near her. Keep the engine running. Amanda screamed and spun the flashlight around again. Still nothing. But then she saw it. A figure, at the edge of the trees, standing completely still. No hanging. Like it had been strung up. Its limbs dangling unnaturally. The fog curled around its body like smoke, hiding the details. But the head twitched. Not turned. Twitched. Amanda slammed her hand against the horn. The figure didn't move. Then it did. It dropped straight to the ground like a puppet with its strings cut. It didn't fall. It descended. And when it touched the ground, it crawled. Amanda grabbed the keys, twisted them. Nothing. She tried again. Click, click, click. The flashlight trembled in her grip as she shone it toward the shape now halfway across the road. It was too tall. Its arms were too long. The legs bent backward, and it was smiling. She didn't see teeth, just the idea of a smile. A stretch of skin pulled impossibly wide where a mouth should be. Amanda screamed again and slammed her fists into the dashboard. The car sputtered, then started. The headlights blinked on and caught the thing mid-crawl. It froze in the light. Then, faster than she could process, it melted into the ground. Not disappeared, melted. A smear of shadow vanishing into the fog. Amanda floored it. The car lurched forward. She didn't care about speed limits. She didn't care about curves or rain. She just drove. Tears ran down her face as the white lines on the road passed in a strobe of panic. After 10 minutes of speeding, she looked in the rearview mirror. Nothing, then something. A shape, in the road. A person. She slammed the brakes. The car fishtailed before stopping. The figure stood right in the middle of the lane, soaked, barefoot, arms at its sides. She flashed her brights. It was a woman. Amanda's heart caught. She looked young, maybe late 20s, ragged clothes, hair stuck to her face, pale as the fog itself. She didn't move. Amanda cracked the window. "Hey, are you okay? I can call for help." No answer, just that stillness. "Do you need a ride?" The woman's head tilted. Then her voice came, hoarse, barely human. "You stopped too." "What?" "It marks who stops. You should have kept driving." Amanda's blood ran cold. The woman took a step forward, and Amanda noticed her feet weren't on the ground. They hovered just an inch above, and behind her dozens of eyes, in the trees blazing, watching. Amanda screamed, floored the gas, and this time didn't stop for anything. She didn't stop when she reached the next exit. Didn't stop when she found a gas station. She didn't stop when her phone got serviced. She didn't stop until she pulled into her driveway at 3:47 a.m., heart racing, knuckles white. When her husband opened the door, she collapsed into his arms, sobbing. "I stopped," she whispered. "I stopped, and now it knows me." They replaced the car within a week. She never drove through the mountains again. But sometimes, late at night, Amanda hears it, the whisper from the tree line outside their home. "You stopped. You're marked." And she knows, deep down, that one day, it will come for her again. Because no one stops in the Appalachian Mountains at night, and gets away forever. The sign said no services for 60 miles, but Marcus had already passed the point of no return. The Appalachian night had swallowed the road behind him, and the GPS on his dash spun a little blue dot aimlessly through the black. His phone had died over an hour ago. The charger didn't work anymore. The signal had vanished at least 2 mountains back. Still, he kept driving. His back ached from the long trip, but stopping wasn't an option. His brother's funeral was tomorrow morning. No excuses, no detours. Marcus clenched the wheel tighter and leaned forward, scanning the endless curve of mountain road ahead. There were no lights here, no towns, no shoulders, just 2 skinny lanes of crumbling asphalt winding through endless trees. The headlights barely pierced the fog beginning to roll in from the sides. Thick, milky tendrils that snaked through the underbrush, sliding across the ground like something alive. The deeper he went, the quieter it got. No crickets, no wind, no animals, just the hum of his tires and the occasional crackle of gravel. At first he thought it was the road playing tricks on him, a figure, standing ahead in the middle of the road. He slammed the brakes. The tires skidded on the damp pavement. It was a woman, mid-30s maybe, pale, with long black hair clinging to her face like wet silk. She wore a dress that might have been white once, but now hung in dirty shreds. She didn't move. Marcus threw the car in park and rolled down the window slightly. "Hey, you're okay?" She didn't respond. Didn't even blink. Just watched. He hesitated, heart thudding. "Do you need help?" She lifted a hand. Slow, like every muscle resisted the motion. Then she pointed not at him, but behind him. Marcus turned his head and looked into the rearview mirror. Empty road. He looked back. She was gone. Marcus blinked, opened the door, stepped out. The air was colder now, dense, hard to breathe. He turned in a circle, flashlight in hand, sweeping the woods. Nothing, no sign of her, not even footprints. He jumped back into the car, heart hammering. "Nope," he muttered, locking the doors. "I'm not stopping again. I don't care if Bigfoot does the Macarena in front of me." He started driving. Faster now. The road blurred in his peripheral vision, trees bleeding into one another. Then he saw another figure, a man, this time. Same place, middle of the road, no shoes, soaked to the bone. Marcus swerved this time, tires spitting gravel as he narrowly missed the man. He looked in the mirror, gone again. The forest whispered, not with wind, with words. He couldn't understand them at first, just hushed voices, like something speaking in the next room through a thick wall. But then a word formed, clear, soft. "Stop." Marcus shook his head. Not happening. Then the car shuddered. He looked at the dash, check engine light blinking red. No, the lights dimmed. The engine sputtered. He pumped the gas, but the car gave one final lurch and died in the center of the road. Marcus froze. His hands wouldn't leave the wheel. The fog thickened. The forest went still. Then something moved in the tree line. He caught it out of the corner of his eye. Tall, too tall. Walking, but wrong. Its knees bent outward like it had forgotten how legs were supposed to work. The sound it made wasn't footsteps. It was scraping, like bones dragging across stone. Marcus didn't breathe. The thing moved closer, slowly, deliberately. It stopped just inside the edge of the light. He couldn't make out the face, only a long silhouette, and the sound it made. A low, ragged wheeze that was almost a growl. Then, another voice behind him. Inside the car, you shouldn't have stopped. He spun, flashlight aimed into the back seat. Empty, but the cold breath against his neck remained. He opened the door and ran. Didn't think, didn't look back, just sprinted down the road, flashlight beam bouncing wildly, tears blurring his vision. The whispers grew louder now surrounding him, all saying the same thing. Stop, stop, stop. He ran until his legs screamed. Then he saw it. A gas station up ahead, lights flickering like dying stars. He sprinted across the parking lot, slammed the door open. Empty. Not abandoned, just still. Frozen in time. A single buzzing fridge full of off-brand sodas hummed in the corner, dust on every surface. Then he saw the attendant, sitting behind the counter, unmoving. Marcus approached, heart racing. Please, I need help. My car broke down. There's someone out there. The man behind the counter didn't respond. Marcus stepped closer. He wasn't breathing. His eyes were glassy, skin waxy, like he'd been dead for days. Marcus stumbled backward, knocking over a display of snacks. And that's when he saw the mirror behind the counter. In the reflection stood himself, but not quite. The figure had his face, but it was wrong. Stretched, mouth slightly open, eyes too wide, and the neck was twisted at a horrible angle, and it was smiling. Marcus turned to face it. Nothing there. But the voice came again, his own, but warped. You stopped. Now you stay. The lights went out. He ran. Back into the road. Into the dark. But there was no car now. No road signs. No gas station. Only trees. Only fog. Only the sound of scraping bones. Marcus's car was found 2 days later. Battery dead. Keys in the ignition. Flashes blinking into the fog. No sign of him. Just a message scratched into the windshield from the inside. Don't stop. The rain had come suddenly, fat heavy drops that hammered the windshield and smeared the glass with streaks of grime. Julia turned on the wipers, but they only made it worse. The road was already narrow, the shoulder non-existent, and the trees on either side of her car leaned in like they wanted to consume the road altogether. She was deep in the Appalachian Mountains, alone. Her hands tightened on the wheel as another curve came up, winding into complete blackness. No streetlights, no houses, no signs of life. Her GPS had stopped updating an hour ago, and her phone displayed no service in mocking white letters. This was supposed to be a quick trip, just for hours to her aunt's cabin for a surprise birthday visit. She hadn't told anyone she was coming. She hadn't seen her aunt in years. Now, the gas gauge was dipping toward empty, and every mile deeper into the mountains felt like it stretched time thinner and thinner. That's when she saw it. A sign, just barely lit in the glare of her headlights. Rest area minus 0.5 miles underneath. Someone had spray-painted 2 words in red. Don't stop. She stared at it as she passed. Her stomach twisted. The engine sputtered. No, she breathed. Please no. The sputtering grew worse. She pumped the gas. The car jerked forward another 50 feet, and died. Silence. Only the ticking of the cooling engine and the soft patter of rain on metal. She sat frozen, staring into the tunnel of darkness ahead. The trees no longer looked like trees. They looked like silhouettes, tall, misshapen, watching. She tried her phone again. Still no service, of course. Julia looked to her right. The woods thick, black, breathing. She wasn't sure where the thought came from. They rebreathing, but it nestled in her mind like a parasite. After a moment she grabbed the flashlight from her glove box, clicked it on, and stepped out into the rain. The beam flickered once, then steadied. The road behind her was swallowed in fog. The rest area couldn't be far. Maybe there was a payphone. Maybe someone else was there. She began walking, her boots crunching on wet gravel. Every sound echoed strangely. The wind didn't sound like wind, it sounded like whispers. Faint, impossible whispers. She ignored them. Then something moved, not far to the left. Something in the woods. She stopped. Hello, she called, instantly regretting it. No response. She raised the flashlight. The trees stared back. She took another step, then another. A rustle, not from a squirrel or a raccoon. This was heavier, calculated. Following, she started to walk faster. The fog got thicker, denser, clinging to her clothes like cobwebs. Then she saw the rest area. A single concrete building with a rusted bathroom sign, one flickering overhead light, and a soda machine that buzzed like a dying insect. It should have brought comfort, but it didn't, because someone was standing under the light. They faced away, shoulders twitching, head tilted at an unnatural angle, one arm dangling far too low as if the elbow had melted. "Hey!" Julia shouted, against every instinct. The figure jerked violently, its body convulsing like it had just been electrocuted. Then it turned. Julia stumbled back. The figure had no face, no eyes, no mouth, just skin, stretched smooth and tight across the front of its head like someone had pulled pantyhose over a balloon. But it grinned, not with a mouth. There was no mouth. The grin was in her mind. It took a step toward her. She turned and ran, not back to the car, anywhere but there. She didn't hear it follow at first, only the pounding of her own blood in her ears. Then came the sound, skittering, not footsteps skittering, like too many limbs moving too fast. She didn't dare look back. Branches whipped her face. Something caught her sleeve and tore it. The flashlight fell. She didn't stop for it. She ran until her lungs were fire. Then she saw something ahead, another road, not paved, dirt, mud, but there was something else, a house, old, rotting windows, black and staring, but smoke curled from the chimney. She stumbled up to the porch and banged on the door. "Please, someone, help me." The door creaked open, and standing there was a girl, maybe 8, pale skin, black eyes, and in a soft voice, she said, "You made it. That means it's your turn." "Turn for what?" Julia gasped, confused and panting. "To keep it away." What are you talking about?" The girl stepped aside. The inside of the house was lined with mirrors, hundreds of them, floor to ceiling. All of them showed something standing behind Julia, tall, crawling, skinless, but when she turned, nothing. "You can't let it see your back," the girl said. Julia backed away. "I don't want any part of this, please. I need to get help." "If you leave," the girl said, "it follows." "I don't. If you run, it catches. If you look away, it touches. If you stop, it enters." The girl's face didn't change. "But if you stay, you buy us another night." A scream rose from somewhere outside, guttural. Julia ran, back into the woods, back toward the car, back toward something she understood, a thing with rules she could ignore. The road was darker now, the fog was thicker. She reached the car, fumbled with the door. Inside, she locked it, tried the ignition. It started. Relief washed over her, until she looked in the rearview mirror. A shape sat in the back seat, grinning without a mouth, dripping, watching. Julia screamed as the car lurched forward on its own, down the road, deeper into the mountains. The next day, rangers found her car abandoned. No gas, no blood, just a smear of handprints on the inside of the windshield, and one message scrawled in fogged glass: "Don't stop." The sun had set an hour ago, but the road through the Appalachian backcountry hadn't changed. Still no street lights, still no other cars, still nothing but black mountains, dense trees, and that winding stretch of two-lane pavement, vanishing endlessly into the dark. Elias was trying to stay calm, but the truth was, he was lost. Not just lost, GP is dead, phone useless, and he hadn't seen a gas station, sign, or town in over 30 miles. He wasn't even sure what state he was in anymore. He just knew one thing: he shouldn't have taken the shortcut. He asked the old man at the diner in Western Virginia if Route 39 was quicker to Asheville. The man had just shaken his head and muttered something under his breath. "What was that?" Elias had asked. "You don't drive that road after dark." But he did. Because it was faster. Because he didn't believe in ghost stories. The fuel gauge dipped toward red, and Elias cursed. The car had been acting up all week, stalling at odd moments, lights flickering for no reason. He slapped the dashboard. "Come on, just a little farther." The engine coughed. Then it died. The car coasted a few more feet before it stopped completely right next to a wooden post on the shoulder. Elias stepped out, grabbing his coat and his phone. The wind had a bite to it, cold and sharp. He turned toward the post. A weathered wooden sign was nailed to it, the letters barely legible in the flashlight beam. "Stay inside. Don't look at them." He laughed nervously. "Yeah, okay. Another prank. Backwoods humor." He was from the city. He knew how people liked to scare tourists. Still, he got back into the car and locked the doors. Minutes passed, then 20. No cell signal, no cars, just darkness pressing in through the windshield. Then something moved, just outside the cone of the headlights. A flicker of motion across the road. Elias sat up straighter. His breath fogged the glass. He waited, and it moved again, closer this time. A shape, like a person, but wrong, too tall. Limbs jointed at strange angles. like it had been built from someone else's memory of what a person should look like. It stepped into the light. Its face was a mess, not blood, not gore, but a distortion, like skin stretched over bone in the wrong order, like it was shifting, struggling to become something it wasn't. Elias couldn't look away. Then he remembered the sign, "Don't look at them." He shut his eyes, heart hammering, breath caught in his throat. The engine ticked in the silence. Then he heard it. Knuckles on glass. Tap, tap, tap. He didn't move, didn't breathe. His eyes were squeezed shut so tight they hurt. The tapping stopped. Elias counted to 10, then 20, then heard the door handle jiggle. His entire body tensed. He reached blindly toward the passenger seat for his backpack. It had a flashlight, a pocket knife. Then the whisper came. "Inside the car, you're already looking." He opened his eyes. The creature was inside the car, in the backseat, pressed up behind him, its face inches from his. Except it wasn't a face anymore. It was a mirror. A perfect reflection of Elias's eyes, his nose, his mouth, but wrong. Off like a wax copy that melted just a little, and its lips moved in sync with his. "You looked," he screamed and dove out the door, hitting the gravel hard. He scrambled up and ran blindly into the woods, not caring where, just away from that thing. The forest was darker than the road, pitch black. The trees were like hands reaching for him. Roots snared his ankles. He tripped once, twice, but didn't stop. Behind him, the whisper followed, everywhere, in every direction. "You looked, you looked, you looked." He stopped to catch his breath and pressed his back against a tree. Silence. Then the beam of a flashlight. A voice. Human, male. "Hey, you okay?" Elias turned. A man in a ranger's uniform was walking toward him. He sagged with relief. "Yes, thank God. Please, I broke down. There was someone in the road." The ranger nodded. "Okay, slow down. Let's get you out of here." They walked in silence, back toward the road. Elias couldn't stop shaking. "What was it?" he asked. The ranger didn't answer. They stepped into the light from the car's headlights. The car was fine, running headlights steady, doors closed, like nothing had happened. I swear, it was inside," Elias said. The ranger stopped, turned, smiled, and Elias saw the ranger's face, his own, melted, blurred, like a copy of a copy. "You looked," the Natranger said. Then he reached into Elias's mouth, and everything went black. They found the car the next morning, abandoned but working. Full tank of gas. No signs of struggle, except for the mirror, cracked and fogged with a single word, scrawled in backwards letters. LOOKED.